Hello. Hello. Where are my hands? Hello. Where's the camera? Hi, guys. Hello. And welcome to Dawn's Craft Riot, the last craft riot for December. So we're doing this today, and then I'm taking a break from doing the broadcasting until the new year. Got all kinds of stuff to do in the meantime, baking cookies and such. All right, I hope everybody's doing well. Start with that. Hope everybody who is in the chat and everybody who is watching on video is doing well, having a wonderful holiday season, or not holiday season if you don't celebrate holidays. I hope everybody's great. Yes, yes, it is very, very near to Christmas. For those of us who are concerned about that, it is almost entirely upon us. But let's make one more Christmas card. I know we have time to make at least one more Christmas card. Yes, that's good advice. Buy cookies. In fact, I did buy cookies. I bought Oreos on sale because I have never made Oreos before and I don't intend to start now. I'm using this is a half a sheet of cardstock. Oh yes, blurry. As per tradition, we're going blur to start. I'm not exactly ready either, but I don't know that I will ever be ready, so bring on Christmas. So I've cut the paper, one sheet of cardstock longwise in half, and I folded it again, so we've just got the long version of the side fold card. And I'm going to use, I'll show you this, I've got a little sandwich already going on, but I'm going to use this background that I made a couple shows ago. You may have seen that episode or show or broadcast or whatever you want to call it, where I was sort of disappointed by what I came out with, but in the meantime, I've grown to like what I created that day, including this background. So I might have wanted to cut out my circle previous to doing the embossing, both the heat and the dry. You saw me make that one. Awesome. So you'll remember it. So if you were planning ahead to do a card like this and you were doing the heat and dry embossing on a card front, you may want to cut like die cut your shape out first and then just sort of put it all together, like with the cutout shape set back inside to run through your embossing folder. But because I made these without cutting the shape, I'm just going to cut the shape out of this already embossed one, and it will squish it a little bit down, but we'll still have texture, so no worries there. That was my only main concern, was to not lose the texture. My sandwich is what I have. It's the big plate, which I think is called an A. Yeah, it's an A. And then I've got 2 B plates and a set of shims that I made. Sorry, I'm holding this up to my chest and lining it up, because if I don't line it up, I'll wreck up the edge of my shims. And I want to make sure that my die cut is in the area that I want. Oh yeah, and I'll let you know I'm using my Lawn Fawn circles. Those of you that have these know that they're amazing, and they're very usable. All right, let's roll this through here and get a circle cut out in the area that we want. This is going to be pretty simple. I'm going to use some stamps. We're going to use the die cuts. Of course, we've got the background that we've already made. And I am going to have to run one more set through here, so let's keep the sandwich out. The long plates, so that you can use long dies, it is a very handy thing to have, the 12-inch plates if you can get them. All right, so I've cut my circle out. We're gonna do a little inset kind of thing. We're gonna pop that up with pop dots and such. But also, while we got the die cut machine, I'm gonna cut out some more circles just out of white cardstock. And of course, how you layer up your papers, whether you use white as a mat or whatever, is entirely up to you. I also have a long die, but I did end up having to alter it. But I would prefer just to have a nice long set of platforms for it. Once you start doing something like this with like a tiny little machine, you might realize that you want the larger machine or the bigger platforms or whatever, because you can do so many more things with it. But the tiny machine works great too. So I'm certainly not complaining about my Cricut. I like it very much. All right, so I'm just gonna stick these circles back on my card. And by card, I mean the die card. So that I don't lose them, because I use them all the time. And if I lose them, I will be a sad lady. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Oh, hi, Vicky. Oh, a bunch of stuff fell down behind me. Oops. That's what I get for using the pile system. Put a pile here, put a pile there. All right. Let's see what we got. We got our card front. We're going to line that up so that it's going the way it was going. Good luck with this part. We're almost there. There we go. There we go. Okay, so sorry, I was stopped to read the chat. Well, I would be quieter so that Fab can sleep, but he's probably can't hear me. I'll have to let you control the volume on your side. All right, so let's see where we're at. Just so you know, this background is slightly smaller than my cardstock, so I am going to use the white around the edge, like of my card base, so that it's matted out. But I am going to pop this up. We're going to pop this one up. We're going to leave the background flat, which is why I wanted to line it up. But I think I might have to sort of line it up and flip it over. And then I'm going to put glue on the back of that and lay it all down so that that bottom part is stuck down. And then we're also going to use stamps from my Holly Jolly Christmas. Come on, there we go. Which is a Echo Park. Oh, I know you don't want to be that blurry. Come on. It's like, but I can see your cutting mat. There we go. Echo Park Paper Company. Holly Jolly Christmas stamps. All right. I'm using the house, just so you know. I'm using the house. And I'm using the holiday cheer. And possibly some of these snowflakes, we'll find out later. And I had all kinds of ideas, like I usually do, but I decided we should just go the simplest way possible. Now look what I did. I left one sheet out for my sandwich. I'm going to not keep them together. Actually, you know what? To stick that bottom one down, I think I am going to set this here. I'm going to use Tombow glue on this. I'm going to use it on the flat, well, I'm going to put it everywhere, I guess. I was going to say I'm going to try and put it on the flat parts that are going to stick down, but it's going everywhere, so let's not be fiddly. Let's just stick it all on there. So I was telling you folks that it was snowing here the last time I was broadcasting, and then it started raining and it rained away all the snow. Oh, and I'm losing messages. There, scroll down, scroll down. Oh yes, thank you. I like those stamps quite a lot. I got them on a good sale, sadly, when the business was closing. So I'll pop this off of there so I don't accidentally glue it down. But I've got this piece gluing down. I'll move that off to the side. So the piece I want to put inside is the next circle down in size, and I'm going to stamp on it, make sure it's not filthy. I'm going to stamp on it my house. It keeps cutting out, I'm sorry. Now, this is where I was thinking, should I use blue paper and then emboss it with the white? And I thought, let's just keep this part simple. I went through my Distress inks and I found the one that I thought was going to give me the most wintry look. So let me just show you my test sheet. This is just the back of a piece that I had run through. Oh, it had some coffee stain, and so I did some testing on it. Oh, and apparently I have glue on it as well. But I just picked my winteriest blues. Not, although, here, let me qualify. I think Broken China is a very snowy blue, but I was going with something that was darker that's going to go with this background. So I found Faded Jeans, Salty Ocean, Chip Sapphire, and Stormy Sky. Those are the darker blues that I have. And I found that Stormy Sky and Faded Jeans are very similar in color, especially when they're wet. This is dried, so you can see that this one, the Stormy Sky, is a little bit lighter than the, what did I just say, Faded Jeans. This is the Salty Ocean, which was too bright for my liking. And then I did the Chipped Sapphire, which I really liked, but I found out that my pad was kind of dry. So I'm going to avoid that one, even though I liked the color combination. So what I did is I smeared it on the paper, dried it, and then held it up to see which one I liked best with the background. All right, so now you're on board with why I'm picking the color I'm picking. I'm picking Faded Jeans because I like that the best. Aren't they almost identical? But one is slightly greener and darker, but I was surprised to find out how similar they are. Okay, so now here's a tip. I have stamped this stamp before, but never with Distress ink. I'm pretty sure. Although you could watch my old videos and prove me wrong. I could be wrong. So I know that because this is a clear stamp, I'm going to get pooling like such. But I'm aware of that, so I'm not, that is fine. That kind of look is totally fine with me. Of course, it's not fine with me if I make a giant mess. Only a small mess. So let's stamp this and see what we get. If it's terrible, we can always stamp it in a different way. Exactly. Don't expect a crisp stamp. That is exactly what I'm trying to say. The words are all in there somewhere. All right. So Hazel House, he's pretty cute. You are back. Excellent. I'm glad you're back. So let's try to get this stamp to take the ink a little bit better. It's still going to pool, I think, but let's take a fingernail file, not too strong of a grit, and just flatly file this stamp. Watch me do surgery. It's not really surgery because I'm not cutting anything. It's just a little abrasion. You just abrade it a little bit on all of the lines parts. All right, there we go. And then I'm just going to actually wipe it on my pant leg a little bit to get all those little bits off. So you'll see that my stamp is not as clear as it was. I'll flip this over. Does it show through too much? I don't think it shows through too much. I think we'll be able to stamp the other side. So I saw another crafter do this. I saw somebody do this on YouTube. Probably the Frugal Crafter, because I watch her shows a lot. She makes a lot of them. But this is a super good tip. Brave. Well, to be sure, I tried that technique on a less expensive stamp before I went and did it on this one. Although, like I said, I did get this one on sale. I can see that the ink isn't taking on one part of the roof, and I'm just going to I'm trying to get it on that part of the roof better than it was. And also trying not to make a giant mess on the side here, but I'm not succeeding. So I'm going to wipe it off. Anyway, again, you're still not going to get a perfectly clear impression. Like, you will get splotches. That is fine because that is what you are expecting. Oh, I see. Yes, you wouldn't be allowed to do that to fab stamps. I get that. If they're not your stamps, it may be more difficult to be allowed to do that. Don't mess with other people's supplies. I'm gonna give the roof a little bit more of a go because I can see that if I just very carefully do this, I can get a better impression up there. You can see already it's a better impression, but the roof could stand a tiny bit better. Oh, you've done this on your red rubber stamps. Nice. It also works with clear stamps. But like I say, be careful not to get a extra, like don't go at this with a strong grit sandpaper or you will make grooves in it. All right. I don't want to cut another circle, so now I've gone ahead and gone ahead and done that, but I'm not going to stamp it again. I am going to stamp it again, but I'm not going to stamp it again for this project. I'm going to stamp it again just to see what we get. Oh, scrap. I actually purchased, speaking of doing this technique on a rubber stamp. Oh yeah, that's even better. So if I wanted to go ahead and cut that out with the circle, it would be perfect. But I'm not going to. I don't mind it not being perfect. All right, so there you go. There's a tip. But oh yes, I got this stamp, this particular stamp at my Michael's when I was in town. And stop when you get down to the plastic clock. Stop when you get down to the plastic block. Getcha. Yeah, no, be gentle. Don't wreck your stamps, everyone. But you can improve them. This particular stamp I got at Michael's, when I got it home, I discovered it had a line through it, like a gouge all the way through it. And I took I think the exact same nail file, and I sanded most of the gouge out. It's a little, I have a tiny little bit of it still showing. So I get a little bit of a area where the ink doesn't take, but it's way better than a whole line right through my stamp, which, like I say, I didn't notice it until I got home because it was just in the $1.50 bin, so I didn't examine it too carefully. All right. Now I'm going to actually do that again. Let's do it again because I want my holiday sentiment to be as clear as possible. I don't want it to be too beady, but I still want to, yeah, I love that. I love this sort of sweater pattern. I thought you could do a lot of things with that for Christmas. Distressy things if you've got a giant line through it. Sorry, doing this all off camera. Especially for you. Okay. Another thing you can do is stamp with your archival ink first, Ranger Archival black ink first, with your clear stamps, which gives them another sort of, yeah, except for in Canada they're $1.50 instead of dollar stamps, but yes, it was in the $1.50 bin. But yeah, the just roughing it up a little tiny bit helps it to grip that ink. I wish I had known that tip a long time ago. Well, I don't know how long ago. The instant I started using polymer stamps and dye-based inks, I wish I had known that. All right. Holiday cheer. I'm stamping on one of these smaller circles. Hello, Molly. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, that stamped up beautifully, folks. That roughing up the stamp worked great. And the other thing I wanted to stamp was maybe a few snowflakes on here because I was thinking 3 might be better than 2. We'll see how the card goes. Now, I'm just going to stamp a little snowflakey business, and maybe on here as well. And again, I think I'm going to rough up this stamp because I've yet to do it. Once you've done the roughing up, you shouldn't have to do it really again, I wouldn't think, but I don't know, I haven't got that far. to find out if you need to. But I think the main key is to keep it flat and not go crazy. Like you don't want to sand one edge down or whatever. You want it to be good and flat. Oops, I put this on the wrong side of my acrylic block, and I can tell because I can feel on the one side, on the gripping side, the edges are beveled, and on the stamp side, the edges are not. And I am holding on to non-beveled edges. Why not put some snowflakes around the other stuff? That's what I decided to do. I went reaching over and grabbing that, and having not mentioned what I was doing. Yes, we're just adding in. I'm adding in some snowflakes. Are there reindeer? Yes, as a matter of fact, there are reindeer on my nail file. Aren't there reindeer on your nail file? Well, deer, I guess. And practically the same snowflake that I'm stamping. Oh, the picture is frozen. I'm sorry. I don't know if I like the stamping on that, but whatever. It is whatever. I'm going to grab a tiny little... They don't have... In this set, they've got the one that looks like a snowflake. And then they've got these tiny little asterisk-looking ones, but still fine. I'll still use, even though that's not exactly what I want, I will use these little asterisk ones. And well, I was going to say, I don't know if I'm going to file them, but why not? I've seen how the other ones in this set respond nicely to the filing, so why not? Yeah, I apologize if you're having issues watching the show. Sometimes that happens. Oh, one didn't stamp as well as I'd like because I didn't press down on the side of the stamp. Oh yeah, so don't forget about those second and third generation stamps. At least second generation stamps with the Distress ink. Just a little bit snowier than it was. That's all I want. Snow. Snow business. There. It looks cheerful and holiday-ish. It's your computer. I'm sorry. All right, so there we go. Those are our little bits to add. Now we're just gluing. We're on the gluing stage. Like I say, it was just a shorty today. Isn't that what I say every time? Distress ink is hard to get a good image from, absolutely. Like if you're just trying to go for a clear image, I would not recommend using Distress ink. But I just wanted to go for a dye-based ink today after already doing the pigment stuff with the background, and the background is already busy. This might end up being too busy for this anyways, but you know what? I'm sure one of my friends will be happy to have it as a card. That's why I'm filing down my stamps. Filing them to get a sharp point. Yeah, I did get a better image than I had previous. All right, I'm going to cut out. I want to pop this up on two different layers. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to use 2 different widths of foam. I've got this super thick foam that I got at Michael's. And then I've got, oh yeah, I've turned it the wrong way. Then I've got this much thinner foam. It's a double-sided adhesive foam, much thinner, that I got at my dollar store. So I want to pop this background piece up on the thick foam. I have not tried Hero Arts ink pads. I have not. But I will stick that in my memory bank of pads to try in future. Oh, you've got some antique stamping equipment. Nice. All right, so what I am doing is I'm cutting down this background because I like to use both the background, this part background, I don't know what you call this, the punchinella part, the leftover bits all around what you're using as adhesive. I mean, it's adhesive, obviously, but I like to use it as well as those. I couldn't imagine just throwing that part away. So that's why I'm cutting it down. I'm cutting it down to use. Nice. Oh, I went to see the new Star Wars movie and was reminded how old I am. I shouldn't have peeled off that side. Oh, what am I doing? Nobody knows. I'm losing my mind. Just using all the bits of this to my advantage. You've stamped since '96. Cool. That is very cool. I think I might have heard about scrapbooking and stuff that far back, but so those are the Hero. Oh, no way. No, absolutely no. I will not spoil it. Absolutely not. Just reminded me how old I was. That's all. You can take that however you want to. So it's the Hero Art stamps look like they're, oh, I think I've seen that where they look like the color is sort of like not exactly even, but then when you dry it, it goes very nice and even. Stamping since '92. Holy smokes. We've got some veteran stampers in the chat. Awesome. I really appreciate you being here. That is super cool. I know that some of the people who watch the show are just brand new at stamping, so it's nice to know that it's so enjoyable that some people have done it for a while. It's something that you can continue doing. All right. Isn't this fun watching me stick adhesive down? It's probably more fun now that I've lost the rest of the adhesive. There it is. I like it to be all level. I don't want there to be parts that might dip down. Or as level as possible anyways. A little bit nutty with a little bit excessive with my glue. So you've been doing this since before it was easy, readily available to get supplies to do stamping. I respect that. It's very cool. All right. I think we can set this one aside because I don't think we want to actually stick it down until we've got the middle stuff going on. So that's going to be this guy here. I'm going to pop him up on the thinner foam tape, which will be easier to do. You're a craft hoarder and you rarely get rid of any stamps. Well, I can understand that. I can't see any reason to get rid of any stamps. Why would you need to do that? Wouldn't you just keep all the stamps that you've ever had? I would. I'm trying to think of a circumstance under which I would give away stamps, and it would have to be a pretty severe circumstance. Okay. Okay, right, sort of in the middle of that business. Okay, there we go, building it up. I think it's easy enough to get way too much of sort of any craft supply, no matter what sort of thing you do, unless you're very disciplined about what you bring into and take out of your space. Well, yeah, exactly. If you've got all kinds of stuff, then one day you'll have time to use it all. Almost. We're almost all the way around pulling the paper off of these things. Last one. Woohoo! Right. And don't forget we're leaving an edge around this because it's slightly smaller, so we want it to be sort of matted. And I think I'm just going to stick those guys straight down on it. I'll lift it up closer to you so you can get a better view of it. Alright, I'm just going to use beacon glue because of the texture behind. Actually, you know what? Just before I use the beacon glue, make sure that I really want it the way that I have it, because we could do it different. We could do something different. Beacon glue, I could pop them up. Oh, I don't know. I like this one up here, I think. Actually, maybe not. Maybe we do want to go in a row. Fiddling, fiddling. This is my worst part. Oh my goodness. Oh, craft supplies leaking. I get ya. Yeah, I think I am going to double it up. I think I'm going to put it like this. Actually, this one's sticking up a little bit more. Come on, get out of there. So I'm back to what I was saying. I'm going to use the beacon just because there's a texture behind still, so I want to make sure it grabs. Well, I want to thank you all for being here. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, what you could have done that I didn't do was go ahead and edge this out with blue. It would really pop it up. But anyhow, I want to thank you all for being here. I hope you had a really great 2015. I hope you did. And if you didn't, well, I love you anyway. I hope the next year is better if you didn't. And even if you did had a really great 50, and I hope the next year is even better. There's our card for today. Like I say, I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank you all for watching in the replays. Thank you for your support in 2015. And we will be back, and by we, I mean me, in 2016. I'm hoping for the 9th, possibly the 16th. You'll have to check my Facebook page to be sure, but my big plan is to be back on the 9th. The year came and went, so you can't complain. Well, I hear ya. I hear ya. And end of the world didn't happen, so we can keep on a trucking, as they said way back in the 70s. Um, anyway, I digress. I hope you all have a wonderful time crafting into the new year. I hope that you can all join me again in January. I hope that you stay warm and toasty if you're in a cold place, and that you stay nice and cool as a cucumber if you're in a warm place. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Bye.